Testing. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Business Time Domain. Now, this is gonna be my last stream here. Um, like I said, I'm leaving tomorrow morning, so I'll be uploading something for you. Before I'll be probably recording something tonight, really shortly, or short, and then I'll be uploading it tomorrow during the morning. So I'll be uploading it whenever I get into where I'm going. So, but right now we're reading 7 to 11, and we got a long way to go in this one. So, all right. The sign of Emmanuel, chapter 7. When Asa, son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, was king of Judah, King Rezin of Aram, and Pekah, son of Ramal, king of Israel, marched up to fight against Jerusalem, but they could not overpower it. Now the house of David was told, Aram has allied itself with Ephraim. So the hearts of Asa and his people were shaken. As the trees of the forest are shaken by the wind, the Lord said to Isaiah, Go out, you and your son, Shear-Jashub, to meet Asa at the end of the aqueduct upper pool, on the road to Laudern Field, says to him, Be careful, keep calm, and do not be afraid. Do not lose heart because of those two smoldering stubs of firewood, because of fierce anger of Rezin and Aram, and of the son of Remaliah, Aram, Ephraim, and Remaliah's son, have plotted to ruin, saying, Let us invade Judah, let us tear it apart, and divide it among ourselves, and make the son of Tabel king over it. Yet this is what the sovereign Lord says. It will not take place, it will not happen. For the head of Aram and Dumachus, and the head of Dumachus is only Rezin. Within 65 years, Ephraim will be too shattered to be a people. The head of Ephraim and Samaria, and the head of Samaria is only Remalaiah's son. If you do not stand firm in your faith, you will not stand at all. Again, the Lord spoke to Asa, Ask, ask your Lord God for a sign, whether in the deepest depths or in the highest heights. But Asa said, I will not ask. I will not put the Lord to the test. Then Isaiah said, Hear now, you house of David. It is not enough to try the patience of humans. Will you try the patience of God of my God also? Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. He will be eating curd and honey when he knows enough to reject the wrong and choose the right. For before the boy knows enough to reject the wrong and choose the right, the land of the two kings you dread will be laid waste. The Lord will bring on you and on your people and on the house of your father a time unlike any since Ephraim broke away. From Judah he will bring the king Azariah, the Lord's instrument. In a day the Lord will whistle for flies of Nile, Delta in Egypt, and for bees from the land of Azariah. They will all come and settle in the steep ravines, in the crevices, in the rocks, on all the thorn bushes, and at all the water holes. In the day the Lord will use razor hired from beyond the Euphrates River. The king of Assyria shaved your head and private parts, and cut off your beard. All right, so let me go back and repeat that. In that day, the Lord will use a razor hired from beyond the Euphrates River, the king of Assyria, to have shave your head and private parts and cut off your beard. Also, in that day, a person will keep alive a young cow and 2 goats, and because of the abundance of milk they gave, there will be curd to eat. All who remain in the land will eat curd and honey in that day. Every place where there were 1,000 vines worth 1,000 silver shekels, there will be only briars and thorns. Hunters will go there with bow and arrow, for the land will be covered with briar and thorns. As for all the hills once cultivated by them, you will no longer go there for fear of briars and thorns. They will become places where cattle are turned loose and where sheep run. Isaiah and his children as sons. Chapter 8. The Lord said to me, take a large scroll and write on it with an ordinary pen. Meshulalah Hazabah, so called in Uri, the priest, and Zechariah, son of Jeberechiah, as reliable witness for me. Then I made love to the prophetess, and she conceived and gave birth to a son. And the Lord said to me, name him Mara Shalala Hazabaz, for before the boy knows how to say my father or my mother, the wealth of Damascus and the plunder of Samaria will be carried off by the king Azariah. The Lord spoke to me again, because this people has rejected the gently flowing water of Shiloh, and rejoices over Rezin, and the son of Remaliah. Therefore the Lord is about to bring against them mighty floodwaters of the Euphrates. The king of Assyria, with all his pomp, it will overflow all its channels, and all its channels run over all its banks, and sweep onto Judah, swirling over it, passing through and reaching up to the neck. The outspread wing will cover the breadth of the length of your land. Emmanuel. Raise the war cry, you nations, and be shattered. Listen, all you distant lands. Hold on a second, I gotta move up here. Alright. Prepare for battle and be shattered. Prepare for battle and be shattered. Devise your strategy, but it will be thwarted. Propose your plan, but it will not stand. For God is with us. This is what the Lord says to me with his strong hand upon me, warning me not to follow the way of this people. Do not call conspiracy. Everything this people calls a conspiracy, do not fear what they fear. Do not dread it. The Lord Almighty is the one you are to regard as holy. He is the one you are to fear. He is the one you are to dread. He will be a holy place, both for Israel and Judah. He will be a stone that causes people to stumble, and a rock that makes them fall. And for the people of Jerusalem, he will be a trap and a snare. Many of them will stumble. They will fall and be broken. They will be snared and captured. Bind up this testimony of warning. Seal up God's instructions among the disciples. I will wait for the Lord, who is hiding his face from descendants of Jacob. I will put my trust in him. Here I am. And the child the Lord has given me. We are signs and symbols in Israel for the Lord Almighty who dwells on Mount Zion. Darkness turns to light. When someone tells you to consult mediums and spirits who whispers and mutter, should not a people inquire of their God? Why consult the dead on behalf of the living? Consult God's instructions and the testimony of warning. If anyone does not speak according to this word, they have no light of dawn. Distressed and hungry, they will roam through the land. When they are famished, they will become enraged and looking upward will curse their king and their God. They will look towards the earth and see only distress and darkness and fearful gloom, and they will be thrust into utter darkness. Chapter 9. Nevertheless, there will be no more gloom. For those who were distressed in the past, he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. But in the future, he will honor Galilee of the nations by the way of the sea beyond Jordan. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of the deep darkness, a light is dawned. You enlarged the nations and increased their joy. They rejoice before you, as people rejoice at the harvest, as warriors rejoice when dividing the plunder. For as in the day of Medina defeat, you have shattered the yoke that burdens them, the bar across their shoulder, the rod of their oppressor. Every warrior boost used in battle, everything garment rolled in blood, will be disdained for burning, will be fueled for fire. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given. The government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of greatness of his government and peace. Oh man. There will be no end. I got hiccups. That's why I'm looking like that. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. The Lord's anger against Israel. The Lord has sent a message against Jacob. It will fall on Israel. All the people will know it. Ephraim and the inhabitants of Samaria, who says with pride and arrogance of heart, the bricks have fallen down, but we will rebuild with dressed stone. The fig tree have been fled, but we will replace them with cedar. But the Lord has strengthened Rezin, foes against them, and has spurred their enemies on the Arameans from the east, and Philistines from the west, have devoured Israel with open mouth. Yet for all his anger is not turned away. His hand is still upraised. But the people have not returned to him who struck them, nor have they sought the Lord Almighty. So the Lord will cut off from Israel both head and tail, both palm, branch, and reed in a single day. The elders and the dignitaries are the head of prophets who teach lies, and lies are the tail. Those who guide this people misled them. Those who are guided are led astray. Therefore the Lord will take no pleasure in the young man, nor will he pity the fatherless and widows. For everyone is ungodly and wicked. Every mouth speaks folly. Yet for all this, his anger is not turned away. His hand is still upraised. Surely wickedness burns like fire. It consumes briars and thorns. It set the forest thickets ablaze, so that it rolls upward in a column of smoke. By the wrath of the Lord Almighty, the land will be scorched. The people will be fueled for fire, and they will not spare one another. On the right, they will devour, but still be hungry. On the left, they will eat, but not be satisfied. Each will feed on the flesh of their own offspring. Manasseh will feed on Ephraim, and Ephraim on Manasseh. Together they will turn against Judah. Yet for all this, his anger is not turned away. His hand is still upraised. All right, so we're on chapter 10 right now. We're doing pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna make this a full like hour right now. I'm just gonna stop at chapter 11 because I'm feeling okay, but it's just like today has been kind of hectic. I'm having a bunch of drama happen right before I choose to leave. It's just like one thing after the other, and it's like this is kind of holding me back from the things I need to be doing with my own life, and I'm a little tired of it right now. So, but I'll be continuing on. Um, I'll be uploading something tomorrow for you guys for sure. But this whole time frame is gonna be really, really short. I'm probably not gonna do the full hour, so. Chapter 10. Woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees, to deprive the poor of their rights and withhold justice from the oppressed of my people, making widows their prey and robbing the fatherless. What will you do on the day of reckoning, when disaster comes from afar? To whom you will run for help? Where will you leave your riches? Nothing will remain but cringe among the captives. For all or fall among the slain, yet for all those his anger is not turned away. His hand is upraised. God's judgment in Azariah. Woe to Azariah, the rod of my anger, in whose hand is the club of my wrath. I send my hand against a godless nation. I dispatch against a people who anger me, to seize loot and snatch plunder, and trample them down like mud in the streets. But this is not what he intends. This is not what he has in mind. His purpose is to destroy, to put an end to many nations. Are not my commanders all kings? He says. Has not Calon fared like Karshemish? Is not Hamath like Arvan? And Samaria like Dumachus? All my hand seized the kingdom of the idols, kingdoms whose images excelled those of Jerusalem and Samaria. Shall I not deal with Jerusalem and hear her image, as I dealt in Samaria with in her idol? When the Lord has finished all his work against Mount Zion and Jerusalem, he will say, I will punish the king of Assyria for the wilful pride of his heart and the haughty look in his eyes. For he says, by the strength of my hand, I have done I have done this. But now my wisdom, because I have understanding, I removed the boundaries of the nations, plundered their treasures. Like a mighty one, I subdued their king. As one reached into a nest, so my hand reached for wealth of the nations. As people gathered abandoned eggs, I gather all countries. Not one flipped a wing or opened its mouth to chirp. Does the axe raise itself above the person who swings it, or saw boast against the one who uses it, as if a rod were to weld the person who lifts it, or a club brandish the one who is not wood? Therefore the Lord Almighty, will send a wasting disease upon his sturdy warrior. Under his pump a fire will be kindled, like a blazing flame. The light of Israel will become a fire, their Holy One a flame. In a single day it will burn and consume his throne and his briars. The splendor of his fortress and fertile field it will completely destroy, as when a sick person wastes away, and the remaining trees of his forest will be so few that a child could write them down. Remnant of Israel. In that day the remnant of Israel, the survivor of Jacob, will no longer rely on him who struck them down, but truly rely on the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. A remnant will return, a remnant of Jacob will return to the mighty God. Though your people will be like the sand, the sea, Israel, only a remnant will return. Destruction has been decreed, overwhelming and righteous. The Lord Almighty, will carry out the destruction decrees upon the whole land. Therefore, this is what the Lord Almighty says: My people who live in Zion, do not be afraid of Assyrian, who beat you with a rod. Lift up a club against you, as Egypt did. Very soon my anger against you will end, and my wrath will be directed to their destruction. The Lord Almighty will slash them with a whip, as when he struck down Medina at the rock of Orb, and when he raised his staff over the waters, as he did Egypt. In that day their burden will be lifted from your shoulders, their yoke from their neck. The yoke will be broken, because you have grown so fast. They enter Athaiah, they pass through Migron, they store supplies at Michmash, they go over the pass and say, We will camp overnight at Gibeah. Ramah trembles, Gibeah of Saul flees. Cry out, daughter Gilem. Listen, Lashiah, poor Ananoth. Medna is in a fight. The people of Gibeon take cover. This day they will halt at noon. They will shake their fists at the mount of daughter Zion, at the hill of Jerusalem. See the Lord Almighty, will lop off the bows with great power. The lofty trees will be felled. The tall ones will be brought low. He will cut down the forest thicket with an axe. Lebanon will fall before the mighty one. So we're on chapter 11. Oh my. It's hot right now, too. Alright. The branch from Jesse. Chapter 11. A shot will come up from the stump of Jesse. Now, Jesse was, I believe Jesse was, David's father, for me. So that's why Jesse doesn't come up very much in the Bible, because he had very limited part. But I think he was like the son. I mean, he was the father of David, or like something along the lines of that. I remember that. But they mentioned him in Song of David, Jesse. So from his roots, a branch will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of might, the Spirit of knowledge and fear of the Lord. And he will delight in the fear of the Lord. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes, or decides by what he hears with his ears. But with righteousness he will judge the needy. With justice he will give decisions. For the poor of the earth he will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth. With the breath of his lips he will slay the wicked. Righteousness will be his belt, and faithfulness his sash around his waist. The wolf will live forever with the lamb. The leopard will lie down with the goat. The calf and the lion and the yearling together. A little child will lead them. The cow will feed the bear. The cow will feed with the bear. Their young will lie down together. And the lion will eat straw like an ox, like the ox. The infant will play near the cobra's den, and the young child will put his hands into the viper's nest. They will neither harm nor destroy on the holy mountain, on my holy mountain. For the earth will be filled with knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. In that day, the root of Jesse will stand as a banner for the people, and the nation rally to him, and his resting place will be glorious. In that day, the Lord will reach out his hand a second time and reclaim the surviving remnants. For his people from Assyria, from Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt, from Cush and Elam, from Babylon, from Hamath, and from the island of the Mediterranean, he will raise a banner for the nations and gather the exile of Israel. He will assemble the scattered people for Judah from the four quarters of the earth. Ephraim's jealousy will vanish, and Judah's enemy will be destroyed. Ephraim will not be jealous of Judah, nor Judah hostile towards Ephraim. They will swoop down on the slopes of the Philistine to the west. Together they will plunder the people to the east. They will subdue Edom and Moab, and the Ammonites will be subject to them. The Lord will dry up the gulf of the Egyptian sea. With scorching wind, he will sweep his hand over the Euphrates River. He will break it into several streams, so that anyone can cross over it in sandals. There will be a highway for a remnant of his people, with what that is left from Assyria. There was for Israel when they came up from Egypt. All right. So, what time is it right now? Yeah, we got a little while yet. I should actually, man. It's not that I'm tired. I think I'm hungry right now, and I'm a little mentally exhausted from the way the day's been. Like, I'm ready to like stop dealing with people screaming at me over stuff. Like, to be honest, it just really, really gets my anxiety up, and I tried to avoid it, but like, I can't wait till tomorrow. I cannot wait. I'm at the point now where I just can't wait. Unfortunately, I'm leaving this stuff behind because, nobody can do anything about it, and it's really, really unfortunate that like I'm stuck in this position. You know, I hate having to leave stuff behind, but hey, God wants us to sacrifice stuff, so why not sacrifice stuff? Unfortunately, I wish I could figure out what to do with that stuff back there. I really, really wish I didn't have to leave, but you know, people give me no other choice sometimes. So I guess on to better things, right? That's all I can really do. All right. So, thank you whoever was watching because I felt you praying for me, and if you prayed for me, thank you very much. I do appreciate you watching and praying for me. That's what I needed to boost me up a little bit. I'm hungry though, so I probably need something to eat. I'm also kind of sleepy right now, so let me upgrade this, and then we'll continue on with a little bit more. So we'll read through 13 then. Oh, I gotta update one more thing. Yeah, you guys see how much I'm like going through right now. It's just never stops for me. Never stops because that's how you can tell you're always in a position you don't want to be in. A bunch of stuff would just go wrong and not go your way, and it's unfortunate how that kind of stuff works. You know. So just remember, don't give up on your dreams, don't give up on your goals. Sometimes they're gonna get rough, but that's the way things go. You know, people under God, they're not built as weaklings. If you're always comfortable then you're not getting with God. If you're not suffering in some way, you're not putting yourself with God. Just wanted to say that out there to you guys. So, Song of Praise, chapter 12. In that day that day you will say, I will praise you, Lord, although you were angry with me. Your anger has turned away, and you have comforted me. Surely God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. The Lord himself is my strength and my defense. He has become my salvation. With joy you will draw water from wells of salvation. In that day you will say, give praise to the Lord, proclaim his name. Make known among the nations what he has done, and proclaim that his name is exalted. Sing to the Lord, for he has done glorious things. Let this be known to all the world. Shout aloud and sing for joy. Sing for joy. People of Zion, for great is the Holy One of Israel among you. A prophecy against Babylon, which is Daniel. Daniel versus Babylon on Twitter. That's the prophecy against Babylon. Chapter 13. A prophecy against Babylon that Isaiah, son of Amoz, saw. A raise of banners on bare hilltop. Shout to them, beckon on them, to enter the gates of the nobles. I have commanded those I prepared for battle. I have summoned my warriors to carry out my wrath. Those who rejoice in my triumph, listen. A noise on the mountains, like that of great multitude. Listen, an uproar among the kingdoms, like nations massing together. The Lord Almighty is mustering an army for war. They come from a far land, from the end of the heavens, the Lord and the weapons of his wrath, to destroy the whole country. Wail, for the day of the Lord is near. It will come like destruction from the Almighty. Because of this, all hands will go limp. Every heart will melt with fear. Terror will seize them. Pain and anguish grip them. They will writhe like a woman in labor. They will look aghast at each other, their faces aflame. See, the day of the Lord is coming, a cruel day with wrath and fierce anger, to make the land desolate, and destroy the sinners within it. The star of heaven and their constellation will not show their light. The rising sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. I will punish the world for its evil, the wicked up for the sin. I will put an end to its arrogance of the haughty, and will humble the pride of the ruthless. I will make people scarce than pure gold, more rare than gold of Orpha. Therefore I will make the heavens tremble, and the earth will shake from its place. At wrath, the Lord Almighty, in the day of his burning anger, like a haunted gazelle, like a sheep without a shepherd, they will all return to their own people. They will flee to their native land. Whoever is captured will be thrust through. All who are caught will fall by the sword. Their infants will be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their house will be looted and their wives violated. I will stir up against the Medes, who don't care for silver and have no delight in gold. Their bows will strike down the young men. They will have no mercy, no infants, nor will they look with compassion on the children. Babylon, like the jewel of the kingdom, the pride and the glory of Babylon's, will be overthrown by God, like Sodom and Gomorrah. She will never be inhabited or live in through all generations. There no nomads will pitch their tents. There No shepherds will rest their flocks. But desert uh, creatures, but desert creatures will lie there. Jackals will fill their house. There, there the owl will dwell, and the wild goats will leap about. Hyenas will inhabit her stronghold, jackals her luxurious places. Her time is at the hand, and her day will not be prolonged. What time is it right now? 34. We'll read 14. We'll get through 14. Change my mind. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm hungry right now, so I'm gonna eat something after I'm done with this, and then I'll upload a short here in a little bit. So. Alrighty. Now, let's get back to what I was doing. Alright. So, chapter 14. The Lord will have compassion on Jacob once again. He will choose Israel and will settle them in their own land. Foreigners will join them and unite with descendants of Jacob. Nations will take them and bring them into their own place, and Israel will take possession of the nations and make them male and female servants in the Lord's name. They will make captives of their captors and the ruler over their oppressors, and rule over their oppressors. On the day the Lord gives you relief from your suffering and turmoil, from the harsh labor forced on you, you will take up this taunt against the king of Babylon. How the oppressor has come to an end, how his fury has ended. The Lord has broken the rod of the wicked, the scepter of the ruler, which in anger struck down peoples with unceasing blows, and in fury subdued nations with relentless aggression. All the lands are at rest and peace. They break into singing. Even the jumpers and cedars of the Lebanon float over you and say, now that you have been laid low, no one comes to cut us down. The realm of the dead below is all sought Aster to meet you at your coming. It rouses the spirit of departed to greet you. All those who were leaders in the world, it makes them rise from their thrones. All those who were king over the nations, they will all respond. They will all say to you, you also have become weak, as we are. You have become like us. All your pomps has been brought down to the grave, along with the noise of your harps. Maggots spread out beneath you, and worms cover you. How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of dawn. You have been cast down to earth. You who once laid low in a nation, said in your heart, I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the star of God. I will sit enthroned on the mount of the assembly, on the utmost heights of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. But you are brought down to the realm of the dead, to the depths of the pit. Those who see you stare at you. They ponder your fate. Is this the man who shook the earth and made kingdoms tremble? The man who made the world a wilderness? Who overthrew his cities and would not let his captive go home? All the kings of the nation lie in state, each in his own tomb. But you are cast out of your tomb. Like a rejected branch, you are covered with slander. Those who pierce by the sword, those who descend to the stone of the pit, like a corpse trampled underfoot. You will not join them in burial, for you have destroyed your land and killed your people. Let the offspring of the wicked never be mentioned again. Prepare a place to slaughter his children. For his sin of their ancestors, they are not to rise to inherit the land and cover the earth with their cities. I will raise up against them, declares the Lord Almighty. I will wipe out Babylon's name and survive. Her offspring and descendants, declares the Lord. I will turn her into a place of owls and into swampland. I will sweep her with a broom of destruction, declares the Lord Almighty. The Lord Almighty has sworn, surely as I have planned, so it will be, and as I have proposed, so it will happen. I will crush the Assyrian in my land, on my mountains. I will trample him down. His yoke will be taken from the people, and his burden removed from their shoulders. This is the plan determined for the whole world. This is the hand stretched out over all nations. For the Lord Almighty has proposed, and who can thwart him? His hand is stretched out, and who can turn it back? Prophecy against the Philistines. This is a prophecy. This prophecy came in the year King Asa died. Do not rejoice, all you Philistines, that the rod that struck you is broken. From the root of the snake will spring up a viper. Its fruit will be darting venomous serpent. The poorest of poor will find pasture, the needy will lie down in safety. But your root I will destroy by the famine. I will slay your survivors. Wail, you gate, howl, you city, melt away, all you Philistines. A cloud of smoke comes from the north, and there is not a straggler in its rank. What answer shall be given? To envoy of the nations, the Lord has established Zion, and in her his afflicted people will find refuge. All right, so that's it for now. Whew. Actually, you know what? Let's read 15, and then we'll go into talking for a little bit. So chapter 15, and then that'll be it. All right. Now we're on the 15th. All right. A prophecy against Moab. Chapter 15. A prophecy against Moab. Ar in Moab is in ruin, destroyed in night. Kir in Moab is ruined, destroyed in night. Dibon goes up to his temple, to its high places, to weep. Moab wails over Nebo and Medadab. Every head is shaved, and every beard cut off. In the streets they wear sackcloth. On the roof and in the public squares they all wail, prostrate with weeping. Heshbon and Eliah cry out. Their voices are heard all the way to Jezreel. Therefore the armed men of Moab cry out, and their hearts are faint. My heart cries out for Moab. Her fugitives flee as far as Zorah, as far as Elagath. Sheliana, they go up to the hill of Luthith, weeping as they go. On the road of Horonaim, they lamentate their destruction. The waters of Nimrim are dried up, and the grass is withered. The vegetation is gone, and nothing green is left. So the wealth they have acquired and stored up, they carry away from the ravine of the poplars. Their outcry echoes along the border of Moab. Their wailing reaches as far as Elgon, and their lamentation as far as Beer Elam. The water of Dimon are full of blood, but I will bring still more upon Dimon, all lion upon the fugitive of Moab, and upon those who remain in the land. All right, so now that's good. So now we're on 16, and that's where I'm calling it for today. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna record this before I try to go to sleep tonight. But tomorrow morning we'll do like 3 chapters just so I can have something uploaded for you guys. And then once the evening strikes where I'm going, I'll be doing a live stream. So but we're slowly gonna get caught up to where I actually am in the Bible, because that was the point and purpose, is like just trying to read through the Bible. And it's been one difficult ride for me to just read through the Bible. It's insane how like people get when you read through that thing. Like it's just extremely weird. So my comic book is in the works. That should be up here later on today. I got one more part of it I gotta finish. And then that'll be the end of that, and then I'll start working on the next one. But things are gonna be a little different from here on out after today. Just trust me on that. So, like I said, like it's been a rough past few days, but it's change needed. So, I can only hope and pray Jesus Christ is with me along the way. But as you can see, that book is very similar. If you read Revelation, that book, Isaiah, is very much similar to Revelations for some reason. It's connected in some ways, but like it's not exactly the same book. It's like Revelations, but easier to understand. So that's how I look at it, because it has connections back to the Euphrates River and what happens in the Euphrates River. So yeah. So I look at it this way. You know, I'll be getting to Revelations here at some point on this channel. For now, this is how far I actually am from my actual bookmark where I'm at, so I don't have too much more to go. I have a small amount, and then I'm all caught up to this. So, yeah, I'll be there in like no time. But yeah, that about sums everything up for now. Let's see what the next few days bring. But from here on out, after today, I'm gonna be working pretty hard to get in the swing of things and try to like try to get myself where I need to go. And 3 days keeps popping up in my head, so there's got to be something involving 3 days. So I'm gonna take a wild guess, but I'm gonna have a job in like 3 days. That's what I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna take that as a wild guess, but I'm really really gonna be pushing out there. So I'm gonna look at places to work, and then while I'm looking for places to work, I'm gonna like actually find a place to stay and you know sleep at. And unfortunately, you know, all this sacrificing I'm about to do is just it's incredibly crazy, but it's something that needs to be done, because you know what? Things just aren't going better for me here. I've tried. I've really, really tried. I've really, really tried to hold it together. But, there's some people that just don't some people just don't want to understand that, life doesn't revolve around them. I'm around a bunch of people who in their life, they must have had everything, just like they must have been they must have been an only child or something, because they're acting like the world just revolves around them. And that's what like I'm noticing with certain people, is like certain people show that the world like revolves around them. And that's what causes people to become very, very selfish human beings, you know. And it's unfortunate, because like, you know, we would only hope that certain people can be good people, but you can't always have that. You can't always have that hope. Now, I will say this. I'm not, I'm not gonna like get on somebody's case because after today I'm gone. But, from here on out, I got a couple things I gotta pack. I'm probably gonna pack some things up before I leave to take with me. The clothes I want to take with me. Try to pack lightly as possible, so I'm not carrying a bunch of luggage with me. And then when it comes down to it, go to my destination tomorrow, stay there for the night, stay there for a couple nights, and then figure everything out from there. And by 3 days in, I should be able to figure it out and have everything properly done. So yep, I'm just ready to go right now. Ready to take on the world right now. Um, yep, been pretty interesting past few years. Been a pretty interesting past few years. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's like it's weird. Like I'm respecting everybody as much as possible, but like, you know, it's just it's crazy how many people are like trying to make me feel some sort of way. Literally have my ticket bought already. I have a place set up to go already. And people are still working on trying to like, you know, I don't know if they're trying to make me feel bad and guilt trip me into saying I can't stay here though. I can't stay here. I can't afford this place. I'm leaving. Regardless of how anybody feels. I don't understand why that's so hard to let people sink in. It's just it's amazing. It's amazing how many times throughout the day I've been dealing with this. And, I you know, a lot of people just are not getting it. They want to make people feel bad. And regardless of how they do things, they try to make people feel bad. Everybody, the main goal of that's the main thing for everybody. It's like I'm tired of feeling guilt for everybody. And it just doesn't seem to coexist. It doesn't seem to subside. You know, and I'm done feeling bad because nobody in the long run has been able and capable to help me. That's one thing God has showed me since I've been here. You know, is people don't want to help me. People don't want to give me a helping hand. So at the end of the day, what can you do? What can you do? You got no other option, no other choice. You leave because people aren't giving you that option to do what you need to. People aren't giving an option for you to help them. And so again, you have to leave. You can't keep sitting there letting life throw at you and people just try to throw you under the bus like every single day. I'm not gonna feel bad. I'm not gonna feel bad for all these things. The computer issue and stuff like that. Nobody actually seems to care. They're all making it into this big deal, but at the end of the day, if you guys would have actually cared, that's the thing is you guys would have actually cared. I'm sacrificing my whole computer I built because people just aren't listening to me. I'm sacrificing all my stuff back here again because people just aren't listening to me. There's no listening coming from people's ears. There's like apologetic guilt tripping is what's going on right now, and I just can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. I've been done. People want to make me feel bad and try to make me stay. I'm not gonna stay somewhere, especially when I'm not welcome somewhere. That's it. That's what you got to decide. You know, I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this to get me out of a situation that I can barely withstand. And everybody's busy guilt tripping me on stuff. Everybody's making me feel bad. You know, I find it weird how like every time I'm reading the Bible, somebody gives me some sort of guilt trip to feel bad about something, and I just can't anymore. Tomorrow at tomorrow, I'm leaving exactly when that ticket says. Nobody can stop me. Nothing can stop me. I'm gonna go, and that's part of where these people just aren't understanding me is like I have this stuff planned out already to leave. What is it? What are you guys not understanding at this point? So it's all it comes around, it comes back around to how people listen to others. Like you know, and I can't keep sitting here living in fear and like wondering how things are going to be next. I'd rather go somewhere and start fresh instead of like being where I am now. People are trying so hard to guilt trip me. It's not even funny and I'm getting annoyed with it because that's what their main goal is. My mom used to do this to me. It's a guilt trip. I know exactly this game. I know how it works. You want me to feel bad for the stuff I'm leaving? Well, you should have felt bad to begin with. I can't. I can't sit there and let my fear take over everything. And that's the problem is like we're not supposed to be in fear of things. We're supposed to follow what the Lord says. We're supposed to continue on our path and not like let people let people control over God. And that's what people are trying to do right now. Control over God. And that's the worst. That's the worst. And I know that. And at the end of the day, I can't I just can't feel bad. I can't feel bad for anybody here. You know, making me feel like I have to leave and making me feel some sort of guilt about stuff, trying to remind me why I should stay, trying to make me feel some sort of fear. Dude, I already made the decision to give that computer up earlier today anyway. So why are you already trying to guilt me into staying here with this computer? Because this computer isn't part of what God's planned for me. God told me to leave the computer here. God specifically said that to me. He said, leave it here. Don't touch it. There's nothing on there that people can be concerned about. So, that's part of like this problem with these people is everybody is willing to guilt trip you. But don't want to think about the consequences of how guilt tripping is going to make. Guilt tripping can, I'm looking at a beautiful woman, an image of a beautiful woman, and thinking about, man, if I go to Texas, I have an opportunity to meet that woman. If I go here, I have an opportunity to meet that beautiful woman. Why would you try to fearmonger me into staying here? That's specifically why she puts those pictures up. Because she knows people are trying to fearmonger me. And if God's telling her to put those pictures up like that, that's fine. Let God do that. Because that's God showing me, hey, there's a better world out there for you, buddy. You're going to find yourself a wife one day. And that's what these people are not understanding. They're so busy living in their fear and trying to make people feel some sort of way about something that they forget there's a big, open, vast world out there that I still have yet to see. And why would I want to live? I'm almost 36 and I haven't really done anything in my life that allowed me to get out and explore. Now, the furthest I've explored away from home is here. But you know what? I'm going to go over to the next time zone. And then maybe when I'm settled there, and maybe when I feel like it, if that's not the place I stay, then I'll move elsewhere. The part of life is not being afraid to do things. Not being afraid of being held back from things. Part of what the Bible teaches us is to stop living in fear. Stop holding on to the things and stop being afraid of everything. That's what the Bible does, and the people don't want to believe that. So am I willing to risk this stuff back here and move on with my life? Heck yes. At the end of the day, I only live one life. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to go find myself a wife right now. I'm going to leave tomorrow morning, off to Texas. Maybe I'll find myself a wife in Texas. Maybe I'll find a girlfriend. Maybe I'll have kids in Texas. If I have kids, at least then I know I made an effort to get myself out there a little bit. The point of life is to not live in fear. It is to live your life as good as possible, because in today's world, we kind of get stuck being held back from the things. We worry too much about money. We worry too much about the stuff that we technically should be not worried about, and then we live in fear because of it. What is the controller of money but the enemy? The enemy has control over money. That is why some organizations that claim they are a group of religious people are controlled by money. You think an item is going to sit here and hold me back from everything? I can take stuff and go right now if I really wanted to. I just don't have the plane ticket to go right now. But if I really wanted to, I can go sit for hours on end at the airport right now instead of sleeping in my bed. Just something to think about, man. You got all the options in the world. And doing YouTube is going to put my life into a whole new perspective. I might not be making anything or doing anything on here right now, but trust me. Trust me. It will pick up eventually, and I will be successful on here too. Trust me. And I'll be successful on Kick because I'm getting closer to the number where you start getting paid on Kick. I'm going to be successful on some of these platforms and make money off of these platforms. And then there's other ways within those cities that you can legitimately make a living in certain cities, and it's like, donating blood, donating plasma, those kind of things actually do work. So just remember, you don't have to be stuck in one spot. You can go anywhere in the world and live there and build yourself up from the ground up. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going there, not knowing what to do, not knowing where everything is, and building myself from the ground up. I'm not even nervous right now because you know what? I'm tired of being heckled here. I'm ready to go. The more and more I get heckled here, the more and more I'm ready to go. And I'm working on trying to not bite anybody's head off. But no. So, and with that said, guys, I'm going to pray and get out of here. So I want you guys out there all to pray for me on my trip and wherever I go next, because I'm definitely going to need it, and I'll pray for everybody watching me that they start having the Lord talk to them and let the Lord lead them in life instead of being stuck where they are all the time. Because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, the world's a bad place, and we're always put in fear. The reason I read the Bible is to come out of fear. The reason I read the Bible is to not allow myself to be held back for any sort of reason at all. And I'm perfectly fine with that. So, all right. Lord, our Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, I pray to you this evening, for you to take fear out of everybody's life, including mine. Lord, keep speaking to me. Keep leading me on the way of my trip. Lord, keep leading me in the future. Lord, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where I'm going next. I do know where I'm going next, but the destination is very, very unclear. So Lord, just keep directing me on my destination. And Lord, whatever it is that you keep saying 3 days in my head, Lord, show me the answer as to what that 3 days is. Lord, give me a vision. Give me something that's going to show me what you mean by 3 days. All right. Lord, also, I pray that you bring me a wife when I get out there. I pray that you allow me to meet the people I want to meet, Lord. You put it on my heart. You know what I want. You know who I want to meet, Lord. So help me lead myself to them. Lord, also, I pray to you that you give me relief along the way. You help me understand, and you help me with funding along the way, Lord. And Lord, I pray that you give me the opportunity to just keep following you, following your word. Show me the routes, Lord. And I pray that you protect anybody that needs protected, Lord. Kick fear out of people's lives, Lord. And Lord, I just pray to you that you keep putting light in me, that you keep sending your angels in any situation coming from here on out, Lord. Just protect me. Lord, protect anybody that needs protected. Lord, protect Melanie Mack. She's one of the people that I hope to meet along the way, Lord. And Lord, maybe marry her. Anyway, Lord, I pray that you just keep me on the path, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. So there you go. There you have it. I'm getting out of here. Boy, that sun's bright right now. You see it reflecting off of the white. That's where it's coming from. Like if you cover it up, you get to see better. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out here. I'm gonna go eat something. I'll upload a short. I'm gonna upload my comic book here in a little bit too. I have to finish out the last part of it. But the way this is gonna end is gonna be pretty interesting. So with that said, guys, take it easy and God bless you, and I'll be seeing you next.